Today is September 12th, and it is the anniversary of my daughter Chrishia's death. She was killed in Rockwall, Texas at 9:30 at night. She was spending the night at a friend's house, who mother allowed her to walk with her daughter to the store to purchase um, some drinks. And as she crossed the street, she dropped her phone. The way it was explained, she went back into the street to pick up her cell phone and was hit by a truck. The driver, I would later find out, was here in the U.S. illegally, living in Texas illegally for 15 years. His name is Ramiro Guevara Tolentino. He was only given a ticket for driving without a license. He had warrants for driving without a license for speeding. He said that he was going with his wife, Patty, or Patricia, and three friends to a soccer game and didn't see her. The opposite side of the road, the traffic managed to see her and slam on their brakes and stop short of her. When he hit her, he broke her neck and crushed part of her skull. The doctors told me that they didn't think that she felt anything and didn't know that she had died. But her death certificate said that it took minutes for her to die. As I said, it's been 6 years since she's died. She would be 19 if she was still alive today. She would have graduated high school 2 years ago. She'd be in college right now. She'd be driving her own car. She'd have friends in college. She'd probably have a boyfriend. She would be well on her way to finishing her degree. There have been many things in her life that she'd have been enjoying. And many things that I would have enjoyed watching with her. All that was taken away when I suffered a permanent separation from my daughter. Chrishia can't come back. At the age of 13, she was a high school freshman, extremely intelligent, very gifted. And I can't help but wonder every year, Ramiro, do you ever think about my daughter? Do you think about the night you hit her and killed her? When you look at your kids, your daughter should be close to about the ages of my daughter was when you killed her. Do you ever think about that when you look at your daughter? When you look at your son, do you ever think about what would happen or how you would feel or your wife would feel if something like that happened to them? I wonder that. I wonder how often you think of my daughter, if you think of her at all. Or do you just continue on with your life? Do you ever think about what it was like for me to lose her? Do you ever feel any guilt? Does it ever bother you that you killed her? I wonder these things more times than I can count every day. Every day since she died. It's hard not to think about it. When I hear so many things in the news about immigration, about people trying to make sure that people who are here illegally have free insurance, have free housing, education, many things that I have to pay for. The things that my daughter, Chrishia, that you killed, can't have. She can't have education. She can't have a job. She can't express the things that she likes anymore. There is a young man somewhere in this world that will never know the love he was supposed to have in his life because you killed her. I wonder if the dent is still on your bumper from her leg when you hit her. I wonder if the guy that you sold it to, which was one of the passengers in your truck, if he still has that dent on there, if he ever thinks about it. I wonder what it was like for you on Christmas when you found out that you weren't going to be charged for killing her. What was it like for you while you were driving? What was it like for you knowing that you still had no license? That you're still here illegally? I wonder what it was like for you when you were surprised by being arrested for being here in the country illegally. I wonder if you know I'm the reason you got arrested. I wonder how much guilt you carry for killing my daughter. You and your wife. Because your wife drives illegally too without a license. I wonder how much it bothers you. Because I was told when you were fighting your immigration battle that you said that if you lost your immigration battle, you would go ahead and take your wife and your kids and go back to Mexico. But instead, you ran. You lied. The things that I've learned about you makes me wonder what kind of person you are. I know you came into the country illegally in January of 1999. You promised that if they released you at the border and you went back to Mexico that you wouldn't come back. I know that 2 days later, you came into the country again illegally and got caught. You made that very same promise. You snuck back in, but you didn't get caught. It was almost 2 years later when you went back to Mexico and was coming back into Texas, you got caught. And you made the very same promise. I know that in January of 2001 that you married Patty or Patricia. I know that you got married in Rockwall. I know that even though you were wanted by immigration services, that you still managed to keep your electrician's apprenticeship license renewed every year. You got it renewed already because it doesn't expire until next year in January. I know that the house that you bought 4 months before you became a fugitive, that you still have. I know that the truck that you bought 14 days, 1 month and 14 days after my daughter was killed, you still have. I know that you bought a truck you sold a truck in January of 2019, and then in February you bought another truck, all while you still don't have a license. Things like this tells me that the man you are doesn't care about killing my daughter, doesn't worry about killing her. You consistently lie. I wonder what kind of person your kids are going to be because of the dad that they have, who killed an innocent child, lied to the federal government of a country you don't even belong in, continue to lie, run from the police, hide from the police. I can't help but wonder what kind of man you really are and what kind of person your kids will grow up to be having a father like you. And I will continue every day to wonder if you ever think about my daughter. I know that this is what you look like the night you were arrested for killing my daughter. This right here happens to be your arrest mug sheet. I also know that while Patricia was on Facebook using the name of Patty Navoa, after you killed my daughter, she was running around Dallas taking pictures of herself outside churches, taking your kids places and having fun. There's always arguments about immigration battles, about immigration, about people just trying to live lives and be happy and to be normal people, part of the U.S. Those people come to the country legally. Those people follow the laws. You are the example of the reason why so many people have lost lives to illegal aliens like yourself. And you prove that you have no care for anyone other than your family. And I wonder how much of that you actually care of. How much do you really care about your own? I know that if you ever see this, you may not care. But the girl you killed, I want you to realize how human she was. I want you to realize that her life meant something to me. She was everything to me. She was a beautiful girl. She was smart. She was intelligent. You should see and know the person you killed. This is Chrishia. After her mother died, before you killed her. This is a life that was having fun, enjoying herself, learning to cope with her mother's death. She did nothing to you. She did nothing to your wife. She didn't do anything to your kids. Then you continue to live your life right there in Rockwall, right there in Nevada, right out in the open, continuing to be a criminal, continuing to break laws. My life is permanently changed. You didn't just kill my daughter. You made a friend and an enemy. Because I can't watch my daughter grow up while you get to watch your kids grow up. I want you to know that I'm your friend because I'm watching your back everywhere you go. And I'm also your enemy because I'm not going to stop until I find a way to get the government to federally charge you for killing my daughter. So that I can finally have closure knowing that you won't see your kids ever again. That you'll serve enough time that you'll forget what they look like. And if I'm really lucky, your wife will do the same thing. And neither one of you will see your kids. Instead, your kids will grow up with your sisters and your brothers and your parents who are here illegally. Until I can get them too. I want to make sure that you understand that there is repercussions for the things that you do. Not just a traffic ticket, not just a toll that you didn't pay. You took a 13-year-old girl's life, and within days, you were driving again. I wonder whether it bothers you, but I don't think it does. Over the years, I've talked to people and they've even asked me, has he ever tried finding you or reaching out to you? No. Tells me that whenever you run from the police after being told that you have to turn yourself in, after telling the judge, oh, well, I'll come back and, I'll go back to Mexico. That you're a liar. You're an outright liar. I'm not going to give you insults and call you names. It does no good. It just makes me just as low of a person as you are. But I want you to know that 6 years after my daughter's death, after walking into that room and seeing my daughter lay on a table, cold, lifeless, with a neck guard holding her head in place, hiding the wounds, and having to say goodbye to my daughter, you can count on me every year, every week, every day, thinking of you, wondering how you're doing, and continuing to talk with law enforcement, and continuing to use the skills that I have to track you down and give all that information to law enforcement, hoping that someday someone will do the right thing and arrest you and arrest your wife. I hope that you sleep easy. I hope that one day you get these messages and you know my face. I don't think you've seen it yet, but I want you to know my face. I'm the one that made you a fugitive. I'm the one that continues to bring your face and your name up. And I will continue to. Because these two faces, these are the faces of the people sitting in the front seat of the truck that killed my daughter. This is the face that sat there and comforted you. And this is the face that within 36 minutes of getting booked into Rockwall County got let go, and within days was driving the very same truck you killed my daughter with, buying yourself a new truck a month later. I hope you know the damage you've done to a life, permanently changing her life, ending it, and permanently changing my life. And guaranteeing that I will never stop until my last breath to follow you and find you and make sure that one day you see justice. Because that's what you deserve. If I can't speed, if I can't just do whatever I feel like, this is my country. I've served this country. I've given my life, my blood, my tears. You have given nothing. You've only taken. So yeah, I think you deserve to spend some time in jail. And hopefully after you spend some time in jail, you get kicked out of this country. Because I promise if you do, I'll be waiting on the border watching for you to come back. And I'll make sure you go right back to jail. I'll do everything I can to make sure that you suffer. That if you can't remember my daughter's face, my daughter's name, the girl you killed, that you at least learn to remember this face. I will not stop. I will not quit. I will not give up until I see you face justice and your wife face justice. I hope you remember that. And I hope that next September, you take a moment and you remember the life you took. All you have to do is drive past that intersection. Just drive to that intersection. You will see the cross that I put out for her. The flowers that lay there. The concrete's different. Her blood is gone. But the memory of her laying there lifeless, that's not gone. The memory of having to take her body to a funeral home. The memory of having to tell her friends that she was dead. The memory of having to tell her grandparents Abuela, Chrishia's wept. Because something you probably didn't know was Chrishia had Hispanic family too. Her grandparents were from Puerto Rico. Her mom was from Puerto Rico. She didn't just kill some white girl, some, as people want to call it, entitled girl. You killed a little girl who was multicultural, probably far more intelligent than you are. She loved everybody. She would have loved you. She would have given you a hug. She would have held the door open for you to let you go inside. She would have been kind to your kids. But that's just the kind of life, this kind of person that she was. And you erased that from this earth. So again, know my pain, my hurt. It's because of you. So the anger, the drive, the desire to see you in jail is because of you. And I thank you for that, because you've given me a very unique reason for everything I do. I used to enjoy the fact that my reason was to be a dad to my precious little girl. But you changed that. The police department of Rockwall changed that. Rockwall Sheriff's Office changed that. When they chose not to report you to immigration. When they chose not to charge you with anything more than driving without a license. Just remember, next year, September 12th, 2021. If you're not in jail, I'm still coming for you. I'm still going to make sure you find your way in jail one way or another. Maybe sometime between now and then, you'll take the time to find God, to go into a church and light a candle for the little child you killed and ask God for forgiveness. Maybe you'll try finding me and asking me for forgiveness. Because I have forgiven you. I prayed and asked God to help me find that forgiveness for you. It's a daily struggle. But it doesn't mean I can't have justice. I will find you, and I will get you. Until next year, I hope you have a safe year.